reaction. Today, I know we haven't done many fan film reactions, but this is a special occasion because over the past weekend, finally, the AXANAR has come back to fan films. Anyway, so today we are going to be doing a fan film reaction on AXANAR The Gathering Storm, which has been a long time in the making. I am joined by my Trekkies in Arms, Zam, Jefferson, and Major Rage. How are you guys doing?
Wrong one. I'm fine, thank you.
Go on.
Good. Just out of curiosity, I know Mage and Zam, you haven't seen this. I haven't seen this. Jefferson, have you watched this yet?
Yes, I've watched it.
Okay, so you're going to be our second watch perspective.
Okay, yeah, I saw a rough cut about a year ago, and then the finished one, of course, the day it came out.
Because you're a loyal fan.
Yes.
Yeah. I held off on seeing this because I figured we'd be doing a film reaction to it. So, and I never sent it to Zam, so I figured he wouldn't watch it. So
I had no idea it existed.
Zam's not going to do his homework.
Yeah, right. Zam's he's here to show up and cook the kebabs. That's it.
Hell yeah.
So, all right. Well, let's just jump right into it, everybody. This is AXANAR: The Gathering Storm. Zam Daddy is gonna bring up the actual fan film, and we are gonna watch it. Now, there was a little bit of a blurb in the beginning. We did skip that only just because we're gonna watch a fan film. There is a link in the description for this fan film. We always say support the official release, whether we like it, whether you like it or not. You should at least support the official release no matter what, because without fan films, Trek would have died a long time ago, I feel like.
Yes.
So, yeah. So, all right, guys, you guys ready for The Gathering Storm?
Yep.
Yes. Let me know when you're ready.
Oh, we are ready. Let's do it, baby.
Okay.
This is a galaxy-wide transmission of the United Federation of Planets. The United Federation of Planets Historical Society, in association with Memory Alpha, presents The 4 Years' War.
Oh, impressive CGI.
Yes, it is. CGI is very good in this film.
On Stardate 2244.3,
oh, this is from Interlude.
3 Klingon D7s penetrate deep inside Federation space and attack the squadron carrying Admiral Ramirez to Earth from Starbase 4. The attack leaves Ramirez critically injured, and the USS Artemis is destroyed with all hands.
So that's from Interlude.
Through Starfleet.
A huge reimagining.
Bold and brazen.
The Klingon attack on Ramirez's convoy was brilliant. They figured to take out the Admiral, they take out our war effort.
In war, execution is everything. When you get your shot, you better not miss.
The attack on Admiral Ramirez was a shock.
Oh shit, they
but
got
he already
him.
set the plans for the Battle of AXANAR in motion, which, if they had failed, could have spelled the
He
end
was
of
from
Starfleet,
the Kelvin
the
timeline.
Federation,
Yep.
and billions of lives.
And he was also an Iron Man.
Yeah, you were one of the leaders of the Hand.
Yep.
That's right.
The 10 rings, not the hand. 10 rings.
Yeah, sorry, the 10 rings, I apologize, yeah.
I'll tell you what, man, that's CG.
Starfleet was in crisis mode. The new D7s were formidable. And with our Constitution class not yet ready, the gains we had made since launching the Ares class were quickly vanishing.
Appointed to take over for the hospitalized Admiral Ramirez, Admiral Threll was the first non-human to head Starfleet Command.
The AXANAR battle plan was risky. We all knew it. But the introduction of the D7 made it clear we didn't have any choice.
And just like that, we could see the momentum of the war changing again. After the introduction of the Ares class, we could see the war moving in our favor. Now, everywhere D7 showed up, they wreaked havoc.
The success of the Imperial Navy early on in the war led to reinforcing our overconfidence that Starfleet was no match for the Empire. Our D6 was the best ship in the war at the outset.
At the time, the development of the D7 was not a priority, given our dominance on the field of battle.
But that rapidly changed, and the speed at which Starfleet launched new and better ships took the Imperial Navy by surprise.
That lack of urgency rapidly
Tony Amendola
evaporated.
Not a few intelligence officers were replaced because of this.
There was a paradigm shift within the Admiralty.
These Klingons have exceptionally great teeth.
It was not bloodless.
After 2 years of war, the High Command finally started listening to the theater commanders.
In addition to accelerating the development of the D7, we activated ships in squadrons not in service for years.
There's those good old Enterprise era Klingon ships.
If they weren't pushing us back so badly, I would have thought they were desperate the way they were throwing their ships at us.
They were throwing everything at us. D6s, D5s, Raptors, even old D4s were showing up.
I love that lady's hair.
The sector was a target-rich environment.
Man, 2 torpedoes took them out. One torpedo took out each ship.
Right, yeah, one-shotting.
Years since the foundation of the Federation, Starfleet has evolved from a small exploratory force to a
They love focusing in on those antennae.
That's one little nitpick I have. I'll talk about more later. The one-shotting of the torpedoes.
A large part of that was because of the relationship between the captains.
While crews were segregated by member worlds, we all trained together. We learned each other's fighting styles and tactics. We each knew what the other would do in battle.
Except maybe with Sonya. No one ever knew what she was gonna do.
Klingons, especially their captains, they fight as individuals. They fight for personal honor, the honor of the Empire. Starfleet captains, we fight for something more. We fight for each other.
We succeed because dozens of member worlds work together, share common beliefs, and a set of principles that guides us.
You have to believe in what you're fighting for. That you're fighting for something bigger than yourself and your crew. Because it's the only way you can rationalize the loss of your friends and your shipmates.
What people don't realize is the war had taken its toll on Starfleet, for sure. We lost a lot of great men and women through 4 years of battle.
Wait a minute, that's not Robert
That
April.
brought out the best in us.
I'm thinking the same thing.
The arms race had overtaken us, and many at
He got a
Starfleet believed
bleach
that the
treatment.
Constitution class was our only chance to prevail.
Leaving the
Robert
front
April,
lines
you
to
know, it's
oversee
a
the
common
construction
name.
of the Constitution class. That was the saddest
But
day
he's
of my
also a
life.
Commodore?
But a soldier goes where a soldier is
Yeah,
ordered to go.
okay, fair enough.
And we desperately needed those ships.
I hate fan films whitewashing characters.
Ramirez had realized the genius of Garth's plan. And Garth was the obvious choice to lead the fleet.
Cal had a way of looking at things differently. I knew it the day that he solved our engineering qual exam with a tunic, a phaser battery, and a data card.
It had the merit of never having been tried.
Cal was different.
Hell, I've known Garth since our academy days.
And the first time I met Garth, my first impression was I would break him like a twig.
The two Nausicaans he put down in a bar during our sophomore year would disagree.
Yeah, Ken started that fight.
First and foremost, Mr. Tanaka, very, very nice man, cuts a very nice figure in his uniform, very handsome. Do not give that man something to drink.
Ken was always getting us into trouble and leaving me to get us out of it.
And he recruited me as his first.
But I don't think there's anyone I would trust more to help me make good decisions.
It's not that the captain ran a tight ship.
Yes, Captain Garth is demanding.
It wasn't about discipline.
As engineer, I am always trying to find out and test the limits of what my ship can do.
It was that his expectations were high.
I'm very fortunate to have a captain who's always willing to help me find those limits.
I wouldn't want an engineer who wasn't complaining about how hard I pushed the ship.
And we all wanted to strive, to give our best at all times.
You always have to push your crew to go beyond where they think they can go.
Because we're Starfleet. And that is what you do.
If we had to put up
Well, he's
one
got more
captain
personality than
against
Mayweather.
the best the Klingons had to offer.
Well, that's a low bar.
No, I know. Every
that's what I
Starfleet
mean.
captain would have
Yeah,
said
Mayweather.
Garth.
Yeah, it'd be Garth.
With Sonya, maybe, as a close second.
Yeah, these beauty shots, I'll tell you what.
I've never seen two of
The
those cylindrical
Constitution-class
things.
delayed.
Were they? What's that
We
thing
had
called?
it in the war before more of those
Huh?
ships came off the line. The AXANAR
The
plan
nacelles?
was our best
No, not
bet.
the nacelle, the other bit.
My
The
take
body
Oh,
of the
on
ship.
the
Garth's
saucer
plan
section?
was
No, the other bit. You know, where the
well known.
It was bold,
Where the,
aggressive,
Secondary hull?
not a lot of room for error.
The battle
Just the
section?
way I like it.
The plan was logical.
they were like the
A
sort of
war
like
of
tubular
attrition, but
section.
not to
Yeah,
favor the
the
Starfleet.
battle section.
And with my
Yeah,
people
there are
ready
two
to
of them.
withdraw
But
from the
usually only see
Federation,
one.
a quick, decisive victory was required.
Double the battle power. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I'm just saying it was just an
So I
unusual look.
promoted Garth to
It-
fleet
it's-
captain and gave him whatever he needed to get
There
the
were
job
ships that
done.
had that design before.
Unfortunately, we were going into war short-handed. Not only were the Vulcans pulling out of the Federation, meaning we wouldn't have their ships or expertise at our disposal, but the Constitution class wouldn't be ready either.
The Vulcans are such jerks.
And we really needed their firepower.
The Constitution class was the next generation Starfleet heavy cruiser, meant to equal the Klingon D7. But problems with its warp engines meant it would not be ready in time for the AXANAR operation.
Yeah, just tow it. Just
gave the
tow it in there with the
Constitution
guns
engines
and
a
shields.
cruising speed of warp 8. That was equivalent to what the D7 would do from what we knew at the time. And then we gave it weapons and shields to match the D7 as well.
The old man asked to meet with me at the space dock where Enterprise was being built. Of course, he wanted to know if she'd be ready in time. I had to tell him no.
There is no question that the Constitution class could have changed the course of the war, swinging the balance back in our favor.
But we had to play the hand we were dealt.
Karn felt there was a great opportunity to end the war at AXANAR. The Starfleet shipyard made the decision that much easier.
They had spies. We had spies. It's the nature of war. A campaign of disinformation had been in place for months. The purpose was so the Klingons would believe that the Constitution class was being built at AXANAR.
AXANAR was tactically advantageous to us. It gave us cover based on where we figured the Klingons were coming from. It made sense, building constitutions there. But was so close to all the Federation's worlds contributing to its construction.
The Klingons had just taken Mizar. AXANAR was the next logical step in the Klingon advance.
We just made sure the Klingons couldn't say no to taking AXANAR next.
Many on the Klingon High Council wanted that war to end quickly. They were perhaps more anxious than prudent. We all saw an opportunity to end it. But Karn was also cautious. There were spies on both sides. Karn had concern.
On a mission to Sirius 3, Garth and his team captured a Klingon officer and the detailed schematics of the D7. We had hoped the Klingon would give us some insight into how many D7s were being built.
Even though we recovered the schematics of the D7 the Vulcan operative was sent to retrieve, Starfleet intelligence was unable to decode the data.
Klingons don't easily give up that kind of intel.
The Klingon ambassador filed a complaint
Oh my
after
God.
the war that we had tortured one of their officers.
Hey, I was at that interrogation. And I'll tell you right now, it wasn't torture that got us the information.
I told the Klingon that if he told me what I wanted to know, I would give him a chance to kill me. If he succeeded, the information would die with me.
That poor
That's
bastard.
actually pretty ingenious.
He had no idea who he was dealing with.
After so many ship-to-ship battles, it was nice to finally face a Klingon one-on-one. It was invigorating.
While the Klingon didn't give us everything we needed, he did confirm there were only 3 operating D7s in the quadrant at the moment.
What we really needed was to decode those D7 plans. We needed to find a weakness.
We had many intelligence assets at our disposal. Just before Captain Garth left for AXANAR, we obtained the cipher to decode the plans that the captain and his crew had previously obtained.
In the Klingon Empire, it takes 4 to 5 years to launch a new class of ship.
The Federation forced us to do it in 2.
A new ship like this, being thrust into war early, we assumed there would be some weaknesses that we could exploit.
Its weakness turned out to be the complexity of its shield systems.
They designed the shields to be on 3 separate systems. One for solid matter, torpedoes, micrometeors, one for high EM weaponry, phasers, and one for low EM. Now, the low EM emitters, now they are the least valuable technically, and therefore they are the least protected.
If we could isolate the frequency of the low EM emitters, we could counter it, enabling us access to their internal network
And that way we could bypass the shields.
and render them defenseless.
It was a page out of the Romulan playbook. Kind of ironic. But
Yep.
I'll take any opportunity I'm given.
On Stardate 2245.3, while Starfleet pores over the newly decrypted schematics of the D7, Starfleet vessels, including squadrons from Earth,
That one had
Vulcan,
2 of those
Andor,
thingies.
and Teller,
No, 2 of those
Rendezvous,
thingies on the
and
other one.
AXANAR.
Admiral Threll let me pick my squadron commanders. Alexander,
Yes,
Travis,
battle. Those are
Raval,
battle sections or
Trask,
secondary hulls.
Narv. We had 97 ships, which we figured was more than the Klingons could bring to bear.
The challenge was always going to be the D7s.
The battle plan had 3 elements. First, Travis and his squadron would guard the dry docks, which had mock-ups of the
God, this gives me,
Constitution-class ships.
Wing
That would give
Commander
the
vibes.
appearance of exactly
The
what the Klingons
briefing,
would
the
expect.
briefings in Wing Commander.
Basically.
I mean, I love
I
it.
was
Don't get me wrong.
bait.
Second, Rabaul and his
Thinking Yavin
squadron would
was
hide
Star
behind the
Wars.
Axanarian moon.
New Hope.
Karn would expect that as well.
I mean, yeah.
And
That's
finally, 2 squadrons to take on the D7s and their escorts and penetrate the D7 shields. And 2 squadrons to take on the rest of the Klingon fleet.
We knew what the battle would cost us. So we brought 13 Daedalus-class hospital ships to deal with the casualties that would invariably result.
And it looked like Garth's plan was right on the money. 3 Klingon battle wings, 81 ships out of Mizar.
With the fracturing of the Federation and the D7 changing the balance of power of the war, the lives of billions of Federation citizens rested on the success of the AXANAR battle plan.
There's an old saying,
And the Vulcans did what
no
they do
battle
best.
plan
Quit.
survives the first contact with the enemy.
Everybody get close to your camera.
It's like an Indian movie, man. All the fucking zoom ins on the faces. Fucking Bollywood, you get hard out.
All right. Ooh.
You want me to play it out or should we?
I just turned it down. All right. So that, yeah, just in case, let's let it run out. See if there's anything else at the end. That was AXANAR, The Gathering Storm. So this is part 4. So I understand, like, prelude to AXANAR and then interlude. Was there what else was there? Jefferson, do you know?
That was it. So the I was talking with Alec. It was one of the live streams or AXANAR updates we did a while back, and he answered that question. I don't remember all the details behind it. Memory's a little bad, but when doing the story, it was just kind of prelude to AXANAR. It was just episode 3. It was just kind of this story needs to take place in a position of where some things have already happened.
So they're pulling a Star Wars.
Kind of. Well, yeah. So Prelude to AXANAR is episode 3. There is no 1 and 2. There is no 1 and 2. So Prelude to AXANAR is 3. Interlude is 3.5, and then Gathering Storm is 4. Crucible will be 5. So yeah. It's kind of like a Star Wars ish thing where you pick up the story when there's already been some fabled episodes, but there is no 1 and 2.
He's leaving it open for a prequel. We know what he's doing here. Wait, we know what George Lucas Peters is doing. Okay, so I mean, we'll let this play through a little bit. I don't know if there's anything else. Zim, can you kind of just look and see if there's anything past this?
There isn't.
Okay.
I sat through the credits. No, it's just full credits.
Shall I clip it off?
Let's let
the names. Yeah, let's let the names. I just was making sure there's nothing we need to see like at the end. Okay, so that is Prelude to AXANAR. So I am going to start with our.
No, this was Gathering Storm.
Or Gathering Storm. I'm sorry. Yes, you're right. Gathering Storm. I'm going to start with our second watch warrior here, Jefferson, who's already seen it. Did anything stick out to you this time that didn't stick out to you the first time? And yeah, we do need to talk about the one-shot torpedoes and how I can get my hands on some of those.
Nothing that really jumped out. I mean, I've got more of a comment in that after having seen the rough cut and then seeing this, just the improvements that were made and the filling in of the story and the effects was awesome. I was there for the principal photography wrap in February 2024. I believe it was February. It was not long after I had my gastric sleeve surgery, and that was 2024. And when I was there for that was when Patricia Tallman and Tony Amendola were there filming. Got to talk to Pat a little bit. She's real nice, real nice person. But I didn't want to be like that guy that distracts, the job you're there to do by all the chit chat. But I got to talk with her for a little bit. And funny story for you about Tony. So the one morning, I drive from the hotel to the studio, right? Because I was filming a bunch of things that would be used for some behind the scenes stuff. So I get there. As soon as I pull into the parking lot, Alec texts me and he's like, will you pick up Tony and take him to Dana Wagner's first it was, could you pick up Tony, bring him to the studio? It was either the studio or to Dana Wagner's first, which Dana's the like main tech guy, sound guy. And I'm thinking, Tony, who's Tony? Like it wasn't clicking who Tony was, who I'd be picking up. So I go back to the hotel and, Tony's sitting there and I'm thinking, oh shit, I'm picking him up, giving him a ride. So I got to ride around for a while that day with him, and it's interesting if you're ever in a situation where we all think about what it would be like to meet these actors in person, right? And here I am in my car with him, and I'm thinking, okay, do I make a little bit of small talk? Is it cliche that he's got to talk about movie roles, film roles, things like that? So, but then also sitting and awkward silence is like, I can't do that. I'm just, if there's dead air for more than a half second, I've got to come up with something. It's just a podcast habit. But we
Well, I
talked
mean,
about stuff like
who you can ask about that. That the guy that's right above you there, he's a professional transportation artist.
Right. But yeah, he was really cool. That was a lot of fun getting to spend some time with him. But just talk about normal stuff. I didn't get a whole lot into Stargate and other works, things like that. Just gave the compliments. Big fan. Watched your work and all of that. But tried to do just like everyday normal talk. But that was my cool story. There was I couldn't figure out who this Tony was because it just wasn't clicking. I wasn't awake all the way, and turned out that it was him. But I couldn't tell anyone any of the stories because I didn't want to spoil it. Blow the.
But now you can.
Right. Yeah.
It's all out there now.
Real nice guy. Yeah, the biggest thing that jumped out to me, and I don't know why, I kind of noticed it the first time I saw it, and Trek has done this a lot. The way that the weapons work are so inconsistent. You've got the Enterprise in Star Trek 6 that took what 5 or 6 torpedo hits, through the battle. You've had scenes in TNG, DS9, where one phaser shot destroys a ship or one torpedo destroys a ship, doesn't matter where it hits. And I get that, especially in battle scenes of the Dominion War in DS9, the action is looking like, do these ships not have shields anymore? They're just getting roasted. And I guess I get it. When you're showing these battle scenes, you can't have these long drawn out shield hit scenes.
Battles, yeah.
Yeah, I get it, but at the same time, it's kind of like, yeah, okay, everybody's one shotting everyone, and it's just, but that's not a nitpick that's specific to AXANAR. That's a Star Trek thing. The plot dictates how everything works in Star Trek. If the plot says, well, we read ourselves into a corner and Spot has to be a female cat now instead of a boy cat, well, we're just going to make the cat a female cat because we need this cat to have babies. So fuck it. We're just going to do what we need for the plot.
Hey, I mean, go for it.
Right. But yeah, having watched it now, really technically a third time, what I was able to really kind of appreciate a little more is I like this style. Prelude to Axanar was the first time I saw any Star Trek fan film that took on like the documentary style, and I don't recall back then if any other film had done it. I don't think so. I think in all of Star Trek, Axanar was the first to do this kind of format where it's like a documentary telling the story of, which was great. I like that, and it was nice to see more of it, which I thought is a fantastic way of telling the story. One little small thing was the narrator. I keep forgetting who the narrator was. Don't think I've ever met him. But if you're going for a narrator that's like the kind of narrator you hear on all of these National Geographic shows and whatnot, that part seemed just a little off. I don't know what it was, but it was like, yeah, I'm hearing narrator voice, but there's something was a little off in regards to how it was being played. Did anyone else pick that up? It's hard to put into words. It's like, yeah, we know what you were going for, but you kind of
honestly, no. I got the it honestly felt like Chris Jericho doing Dark Side of the Ring, kind of. If that, I always kind of felt that that's how that narration went. I don't know, Zam. I know you're more familiar with it than the other two are, but did you get Chris Jericho vibes from the narration in this? Or
narration didn't bother me. I mean, there was just so much talking going on from so many people. I mean, sorry, am I able to chime in now, just generally?
Absolutely, yeah.
Is that right?
Come on.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. Okay. I'm gonna go with my positives first before I do my negatives. This was phenomenal, regarding just the look of it and everything, and you can see the evolution in the fan films. But then at the same time, when you're looking at that list of credits, can you really call this a fan film? Because this is beyond fan film. Like this is like a mini TV show done by a whole bunch of people who love the work, but it required so many people to get this sort of level of authenticity to look the way it did, and it didn't necessarily. And I'm not using this as a negative, by the way. I'm just saying it just felt beyond a fan film. It felt like if this is evolution, this is what the direction fan films are going to be going in the future. Then this was very impressive. The look of it, the special effects, the costumes, having some recognizable Hollywood actors in this as well. Like this was quite remarkable in that sense. There's a real crossover, and everything, the sets and all of that. Yeah, it was beautiful to look at, but this documentary style, like there were so many characters, and I'm going to my negatives now, that I had no idea what the fuck was going on half the time. Like they were talking, oh, we jumped into this person, but this person, we're talking about this shit, this. It was really hard to grasp what the hell everyone was talking about, and I was just going along for the ride and just appreciating what I was looking at. But half the time, or most of the time, I didn't really understand what was going on. It was really hard to appreciate what everyone was saying. Like everyone was finishing each other's sentences and taking over from each other, regarding what they were saying and everything. And I think they also added way too many characters. Like before you know it, like this person's involved and this person's involved and this person's involved and all of that shit. And it just got, I was kind of like just drowning in all of this, which is a shame to a degree, but it doesn't take away from the overall fact that this is a very impressive piece of work. But I did actually find the overall story not to be too engaging as much as I wanted it to be. I wasn't enthralled as much as I wanted it to be. I was too busy just marveling at how everything looked than necessarily being impressed with what they were talking about in the campaign and everything in this documentary style. So yeah. I'm not sure.
Okay, Mage, what's up?
Yeah.
I see kind of where Zam's coming from, but I feel like I did enjoy the documentary format more than I was bothered by it. I see where he's coming from with kind of some of it was exposition heavy for sure, but I feel like Alex trying to get a lot of story accomplished in a very short amount of time. And that's something you got to work with in fan films, is how short a period of time you have to work with. So cramming in a lot of content in that time, I see as a net positive. Looked fantastic, powerhouse performances, really good stuff.
Yeah, a lot of Trek alum in there, so which is good. I mean, even if they're playing different characters, I mean, if Jeffrey Combs has taught us anything, you can play multiple characters in the Star Trek universe. Just throw some ridges on them and throw some antennae on them, or throw some different color paint on their faces. And yeah, I mean, they can play. I mean, Jeffrey Combs taught us that. Yeah, he literally played a Vorta and a Ferengi, I think, in the same episode, or did they never actually meet? I don't remember.
I'm not sure if Brunt and
no, Brunt and Wayun were never in the same.
They were never in the same room, but still, I mean, it was really close right there. Like, I mean, those two were still part of the same series. Anyway,
like the Klingons, for instance, I would like to maybe have seen a bit more, sort of like that Klingon essence, because they just seemed a little bit sophisticated. for being Klingons, if you know what I mean.
But they're
a lot
pulling
of
from
TOS Klingon there.
Yeah, they're pulling from the TOS Klingons because the difference between the TNG Klingons and onward and the TOS Klingons is like in the motion picture era they really kind of evolved those characters into like the blood honor type characters, whereas in the original series they were just kind of like maybe Mongolian, like I don't know, like
I'm just saying if that's the case, then get rid of those ridges.
I mean, you can't get rid of the ridges. What do you think this is? The original series?
If you just mentioned TOS,
I know.
Ridges then.
I think he was trying to find a happy medium, though. Like with that, like I think he was trying to find a happy medium because the ridges weren't pronounced, and especially in the main one. What was it, Korg? But the Elder Klingon had really thick ridges. So I mean, I don't know. I think he was just trying to do whatever. I mean, the Klingon heritage is just so messed up. It's like, just go with it.
And by the way, if I didn't mention this earlier,
go for it, Sam. Oh, I was just going to say, as a guy who plays a Klingon, I'm just going to say there's really a lot of range in there to ways to play it.
Mm-hmm.
That's right, because he is our resident Klingon actor.
But I said I did try to throw in as much positivity as I could in this as well. You guys mentioned it earlier, May mentioned it, like the acting was just fantastic.
Oh yeah,
it was absolutely fantastic. And obviously having some proper actors in there does help. I don't know how many of the people I was watching are renowned actors who do it professionally or whatever, but regardless, it was great stuff. I mean, the acting was amazing.
Just going to jump to a couple comments here before I give my thoughts. So on a paired channel, I'm guessing this is yours, Jefferson. I am not a Nugget Blackheart, so that's an Owen Hart reference. I don't know who that's paired with, but so they got Leda Alexander to replace Ellen Ty and Captain Rabau. I can't. I do terrible with names. As part of the project now, huh?
Patricia Tallman played Leda Alexander in Babylon 5.
Oh, yeah.
And the actress, oh my God, what's her name? That played Ellen Ty in Battlestar Galactica and was in Prelude to Axanar. Hold on, I'm gonna have to look her up. I'm just that's what he's talking about. And
yeah, they were replaced.
The actor that played Captain Rabau. It's the same character. It's just he played it timeline. Of course, there's a counterpart in the Prime universe.
Yeah. All right.
Wait, hold on. Let me get the.
He's an Indian actor who plays a lot of Middle Eastern characters in Hollywood films and TV shows.
All right. Well, when you get the name, just let me know. Same person says, weird. I wonder if court overturns some of the legal blocks Paramount put up. I mean, as far as I know, I mean, there are so many fan films out there that I really feel like, like the legal, I don't know.
I do have some news regarding the Ellisons. They haven't got their hooks into Paramount yet, and it might be end up being something way too costly for them to get involved in. And we mentioned so many things about how they might actually, what they would do with Star Trek if they got their hooks into it. With like 6 white guys, going across the universe, and the only thing diverse about them is that they come from a different state in America,
and they're all southern states.
Yeah, exactly, all red states. But it also made me realize if the Ellisons do get their hooks into Star Trek, then things like fan films and stuff that they might be a thing of the past if those fuckers get their hands on this shit. So let's hope they don't. And so far, it's so good that they haven't.
Kate Vernon. It was Kate Vernon who played Sonia in Prelude to Axanar, and I don't recall the circumstance to which she did not return for this one. I think at one point I had heard, and it might have been I don't know, in the ether, but I don't recall, what the reason behind that. But yeah, and that's when Patricia Tallman got called in.
Gotcha.
And that is awesome to be able to do a film and be able to get some of the actors that were from the franchise, which I thought that's awesome. Like back with Star Trek Continues and Star Trek New Voyages, was able to get that. And yeah, I know the Paramount, CBS, they've done nothing but bitch and moan the entire time and all of that. And Zam is right about the characters. This was supposed to be a longer, like a film, and the story had to get really cut down and condensed into these two 15-minute episodes. And early on in the production filming for the Gathering Storm, when Alec was talking about so many characters that were going to be in it, I remember thinking the same thing. Like, is that going to be too many? Because you go from Prelude, we only had Karn. We had like four, I think, and Garth. Maybe 4, 5, or 6. I'm trying to do math in my head real fast, and that was, you could bite that off and chew that. That wasn't all too bad. But yes, there were a lot more characters here, and some that only had like the one scene, which I think for the way it was done, trying to have that many characters, that it was done well. That what they said contributed to the overall story. And now I get it. There's probably 4 or 5 of them. You could take their lines and give them to this person, that person. But the thing is, though, this is episode 4. There's going to be episode 5. So you're going to, we may see them again. I'm trying to speak very carefully because I saw the rough cut of 5 as well. So it's going to be that there's more time they have. So Zam, you may have a different opinion of it once you see the next one, and then take their time in this documentary and spread it out.
Is it documentary the whole way though? Is it documentary the whole way? Because it looked like they were about to, shit was about to get down, even though we already saw battle scenes in this episode.
Yeah, it's going to be good. I can't tell you, but it's going to be good.
It's documentary style. The whole thing is documentary style. So when you're able to watch Prelude to Axanar, and then Gathering Storm, and then Crucible, right?
Crucible.
That's Crucible. Like, when you can watch all 3 of them together, I mean, it's going to be a full-fledged documentary. Like, it's going to be a full 60-minute documentary. Like, well, no, not 60, probably like 45 minutes to an hour documentary between Prelude and the other 2. So
all the characters will make more sense once you can watch it, all 3 in a row. Then it feels more evened out. But I get it. Right now, it kind of just felt like we got a dump suddenly.
Yeah.
Of a bunch.
I was a little bit overwhelmed,
So
at one point, yeah.
Okay, so Daniel Vance says, "I wonder if the Klingon fleet could." He was saying this while we were watching. Could even comprehend a bunch of medical ships. Yeah, they're probably thinking they're like, a bunch of suicide ships. They got giant bombs on the front of them.
Right.
No. That's what I would do. I'd load up a bunch of medical ships with just like those Daedalus and just like
I'm a big boy.
Just throw like a bunch of like thermonuclear bombs in them and then just ram them into the Klingon fleet.
Yeah. Sorry.
It's okay. Board in Cork says, so it caused Paramount to scream copyright infringement, or so good it caused Paramount. I mean, yeah, but that was years ago. I mean, as I said, there's so many fan films out there that it kind of, I don't want to say. I mean, definitely AXANAR is like the front runner when it comes to fan films and versus Paramount. Like that's definitely the front runner right there. It's like that's the one they keep their eye on. They don't keep an eye on everything, I don't think, but like there's definitely the people that come in and you know that's definitely them. Nerdiverse says I beamed aboard. Oh, good, just what we needed. Another red shirt, or red hat, one of the two. Do we even know how many characters Jeffrey Combs played in Star Trek? I think they was it 8. I think they said it was like 8 characters or something like that. He's not even the record though. There's someone else who has a higher record, I think. It's somebody who was a part of the original series and a part of TNG, I think. But he played multiple aliens in TOS and if I remember right, I might be wrong, but he definitely holds like he's definitely. I think him and Jonathan Frakes have like the most appearances across, you know, as actors across the most series. Okay, so I hear Paramount's financial situation is worse than thought. There is no new Star Trek in development. The talk of a new movie release around 2030 and will be set further in the future. I don't know how you're going to go further in the future. Jeez, oh, Pete. Like, they're just going to be flying around with personal, like, warp bubble force field shit. Like, warp bubble force fields around them. And then they're just going to fly to different planets. They're not going to have ships anymore. I mean, they're going to go non-corporeal here in a minute. I don't know. I don't want them to go. I would love them to start up post Picard and just start with Legacy, even if it's not Legacy per se. Just give us something in the 25th century. That's what I want. You know, 25th century.
Everyone's clamoring for a 7 of 9 to be captain of the Enterprise. I hate saying that, but you know, we're clamoring for that. So give it to us.
I do want a Federation President series with Scott Bakula's Jonathan Archer. You're muted.
I know.
I was just saying, Jesus, Cheeto, get it together.
I know, right? I would love to see that. I would, and honestly, with our Mayweather comment earlier, I would love to come back and like have President Archer and then have Captain Mayweather be one of his like leading captains. I'm telling you, hasn't aged.
Nobody wants. Unfortunately, nobody wants any of that. And I for one, I'm so sick and tired of there's going to be another Star Trek movie, and then it's been canceled.
Oh,
there's
yeah,
going to be another Star Trek movie, then it's been canceled. It's like, I don't care. I don't care anymore. And the problem is that
tell me when it's in production.
Fans don't care anymore. It's like until there's a release date of it, nobody gives a shit anymore because they've been saying that since 2016. So for 10 years, it's been kind of like the Epstein War. We have a deal. No, we're bombing again. We have a deal. No, we're bombing again. The Strait is open. It's closed. It's open. It's closed.
Hey, don't put politics in my Star Trek. When has Star Trek ever been political?
Yeah, the blockade of the blockade is down. No, the blockade of the blockade is up again. Same thing with the Star Trek movies. Every goddamn week, I have to look at some stupid ass Screen Rant article or
I look in the comments before
CBR or whatever, and it's like I don't even like. It aggravates me to see that these Star Trek outlets make news about it because it's been going on for 10 years, on again, off again. And at that point, you've lost us. It's like it's too late. Like even if you did put a movie out, people are going to be so burned out.
No, but we can't have Section 31 being the last Star Trek film. No way in hell. You know, that cannot be.
Everything dies in a whimper.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why we made that podcast. You know, is this the end of Star Trek? Because who knows? It could be where is the next generation of fans? You know, we are that generation that's keeping the ship going, but eventually we're going to get too old, and it needs new blood. Star Trek needs new blood.
I think what this film showed me, if anything, the AXANAR series showed me anything is that the Star Trek official productions need to just take a break. Need to just take a break and just fuck off somewhere or whatever, and just let the fan films provide the content. Because the thing is, honestly, the fan films do have the ability to look and act and play out just as well as. Now I know that you've got to be like at the top echelon of the fan films, and it's a higher bar for fan films to meet up with, kind of where they are in quality and production to the main line. But it's not that it's impossible. It's possible. We've seen it. I think that CBS, Paramount, whatever, they need to take a break and just stop doing Star Trek series, stop doing movies, and revisit it in a few years. There's plenty of fan films out there for people to bitch about. So it's not like they're not going to have anything to complain about for a while. We're still putting up stuff that people call woke when they couldn't even give a definition of woke if you asked them what it means. A lot of them couldn't even spell it. So yeah,
without sounding like a fucking KKK member, you're absolutely right. And it's crazy, and like these things were irrelevant just a few years ago. No one gave a shit, but it become mainstream now for whatever reason I don't understand.
It became a MAGA talking point. It became a MAGA Republican talking point, so that they could, because they have no platform. They have no platform. They have no policy. Their only goal is tax breaks for the rich and siphoning money from the lower and middle class up to the upper class. And so the only thing they have to work off of, the only juice they've got, is to keep their base.
Yeah, culture wars.
Somebody.
Yeah, culture wars.
Right.
We have to blame 1% of the human race, like the trans people. They are somehow the reason why everything's shit for some reason.
Speaking of wars, the 4 Years War we talked about. Okay. All right, so yeah, with this new movie will not have any. So they're talking about the new movie or whatever. Who cares? Not about your comment, just about the movie. It seems Star Trek streaming lost a lot of money in the TV series format. Yeah, well, that's because they put it all on streaming. And although I liked it on streaming better, I don't know how they're supposed to end money. You could Jefferson. This comment came in when you were talking about you can't say anything about the episode 5 of the AXANAR. Basically, son, he smells an NDA, so you must have signed something.
It wasn't that. I didn't sign NDA. Didn't sign anything. It's just it was.
I think he's joking.
Right. Yeah. No, it was just a very polite. Like, of course, if I'm given the privilege of the sneak peek, I'm not going to say anything about it. That's the gentleman's agreement. Like, why I wouldn't do that. The Alec offered to show it to me and probably Vance and Frank, and of course we're not going to spill it. I didn't say anything for 2 years about having met and knew that Patricia Tallman and Tony, and the Amendola were there. So that's just what you do. I think these people that are out for the scoop, like that short term gratitude, but then you burn bridges when you do that. And I wasn't going to do that. So, yes, I think you guys are definitely going to like 5. I don't want to give anything away, but it is certainly, we're looking forward to it. You guys are going to like it. You're going to be in for a treat.
All right, Sam, what were you going to say?
I just want to say that regarding Trek at the moment, I just don't think like the the writers out there that they can come up with any original ideas. Like Starfleet Academy almost seemed like a no-brainer, because look, here's something that gets talked about a lot, but we haven't gone there yet. Yeah, it's part of Star Trek ethos. Let's do it. Make a show out of it. Unfortunately, it hasn't panned out the way people were hoping for, regardless of how we feel about it. But it's something they did. But I think they're running out of ideas now. What more can we do? We've done space stations. We've done them, going on to different places. We've done prequels and all of that. We've done the far, far future with Discovery.
Federation president. Do the politics.
That's not the problem. That's not the problem. This atmosphere that we live in now is not conducive to anything. It is not coming up with a brand new, fresh idea. It does not matter, because here's the thing. Somebody could wake up someday with a genius idea of a Star Trek series that's never been done. That doesn't matter. What's going to matter is if they have the audacity to put a woman in the cast, or a person of color, or a character that's gay, bi, trans, or whatever, because that's what they're going to do. That's what they're going to do. They are not going to do a Star Trek series with an all-white male cast. And unless they do that, it doesn't matter what the show is about or what the idea is. The Star Trek fans are going to bitch and complain about it. It doesn't matter. As soon as there's any diversity, if there's a female,
but there's always been diversity, even before
we
the
gotta get rid of the
backlash.
DEI. We can't have people of color in our TV shows.
Who are you trying to intimidate? What are you doing? What are you talking about? That is not an impersonation of me. Excuse me.
I'm just saying, there's been diversity forever in Star Trek. Every series up from the start to now. I just don't understand why.
We're in a culture war now.
Yeah.
We weren't in a culture war. Well, it wasn't as pronounced then, but we're in a culture war now.
Yeah, I know. I know. Racists back in the day, racists were not allowed to pop their head up above the ground. But now with Trump in charge, they're being empowered. They're being emboldened, and now
yeah. But I mean, so and I agree with you in that in the States. But Star Trek is a global phenomenon. I think there's a shift around the world currently to more conservative point of views for some reason, and I think it's because of money.
Trump once again. It's because of Trump as well.
But I don't think it's just Trump. I think it's in a lot of places around the world. I think it's more of a money thing, like the conservative money power. So I mean,
but conservatism doesn't necessarily mean like racism and bigotry and all of that shit. I mean, that's what Trump had brought to the game, unfortunately.
All right. I'm all right. And I mean, we can get into we can talk about all that. Let's do a highly illogical podcast on that maybe sometime. I want to get through these comments and then we're going to wrap. So
are we going to mark it?
I haven't given my point of view yet. I have a couple comments I want to go through.
I'm sorry.
Notice how nothing new is mentioned as San Diego Comic-Con for the first time in many, many years since it happened. Yes, since that happened, you are true. Nothing has been announced since Section 31 came out. Daniel Vance says, so long as the fan film is not, it has a better plot than Section 31, I'll give it a 6 out of 10. I'll hold you to that. Star Trek did such a good job of steering public conversation, and now when people watch TOS, they have no idea what it so radically no idea what made it so radically we are actually doing TOS watch-alongs. We when there is no new Trek on, which is going to be more and more frequently now, with Strange New Worlds coming to an end after next season, and pretty much every other series. Well, I think we got one more Starfleet Academy, but other than that, that's all that's coming out. We do TOS watch-alongs every week. So we are watching currently. We just finished season 1. So we are just getting into season 2 after Strange New Worlds concludes. In I think September is when it ends. So join us for that on NerdTube. I don't know where you're watching from, but if you're watching on NerdTube, come over and join us. Also, if you're on NerdTube but not, go check out Jefferson's channel. Your link might be in the description. If not, I'll put it in there in a minute.
Thank you.
But I know I definitely. I know I put you on the thumbnail. He said, agreed. People from Paramount have quietly said that they do not think that proper Star Trek will find an audience in the current political climate. You are correct. And Borden Cork says, telling that Starfleet Academy did reasonably reasonably well outside of the U.S. So apparently, Starfleet Academy did well outside the U.S. But I mean that that's because the U.S.
No,
is their primary
I
audience.
just want to say, like, this, what people think within Paramount is not necessarily what is not necessarily fact. I mean, Odyssey was supposed to like be a real flop of a movie. That's because He-Man was a flop and Supergirl was a flop, so they just thought, okay, this film's also going to be a flop, considering some of the woker elements of things. But no, Odyssey ended up blowing the box office out the water, and I do feel that there is still a hunger for all of this shit, and as long as stuff is written well, it doesn't matter about the diversity. It doesn't matter if there's a trans person in it. All
Yes,
that matters
it does.
No, but Odyssey's proven that it doesn't. Odyssey has proven that's not the case. Odyssey's come out and it's done really well at the box office. It's got a black Helena Troy, and people are really pissed off with this movie for some reason, but they think it's fucking historical. We have to keep telling these idiots that it's goddamn fiction, but it's Greek mythology. Greek mythology is not real Greek history. It's fictional history. Zeus and all of that shit doesn't fucking exist. But regardless,
wait, you mean a Cyclops isn't walking around with a big eye?
Yep. No, but Odyssey has proven that regardless of these haters, and these haters are very, very loud. Regardless, Odyssey has proven that you can bring out stuff that what those people will consider to be woke because of a trans person and a black Helena Troy, and it can still do very well at the box office.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I am going to give my rating on this. I'm going to give it, and I'm going to say what I liked about it because I didn't get a chance to do that yet. I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10. The battles were great. The CGI was great. The acting was great. The storytelling was great. Do I consider it like this isn't like an episode of Star Trek? This was a documentary, and you have to take it for what it is. And I get it. Like people go into these fan films sometimes thinking they're going to get an episode of Star Trek, but it was clearly it's not like it was even like a tweener, kind of like the episode of Strange New Worlds that was like a documentary episode. Like this was a true blue documentary episode where people were sitting down talking to a camera. And even though it did make a little bit of sense because like all these Klingons are just sitting in front of this camera talking, hand wavy stuff that, the one shot torpedoes, hand wavy stuff. It did not take me out of the fan film. I felt it was very well produced. I felt it was very well organized. And I do agree that, yes, I feel like this film did suffer from having to be condensed down into 2 parts from a feature-length movie. I still think that it did really well. And honestly, I did not have trouble following it at all. Yes, they were introducing a lot of characters, but I really felt they did a good job at introducing these characters organically, like in like a documentary style where it's like, hey, this person was now involved and this person was now involved. Because if you think about it in a war, yeah, you only have 4 people in like Prelude, but it's like, how many people are actually involved in a war? I mean, all the starship captains, all the admirals, like, I felt like they did a really good job at introducing and bringing in all of the elements of this 4-year war that I want to see. I would have really loved for this to be Star Trek Discovery. I'm not going to lie. Like, I'm not hating on Discovery. Discovery was what it was, but like, honestly, like I would have also loved to have something like this to showcase the Klingon War, this style. They did a really good job at blending like the modernization of the TOS era ships and the old, with the old styles. They did a really good job at blending that together. It didn't feel hokey and cheesy and like a model, like in the old days. Now, I always have my issues with the Connie class, and that's fine. But that's only because of its construction, because there's too many weak points. I think it's stupid, but still, I still think they made it feel and look like it made sense to me, and a lot of the ships made sense. And I'm a big ship whore, so I'm a shipper. There, but anyway, that's so 10 out of 10. I really think they did a good job with what they had, and as I said, the years of legal battles and everything. This doesn't. I mean, and for it to come out like this, like so well. I think it deserves a 10 out of 10 in my opinion. Mage, are you now? You okay to go?
I can go, yeah. The dog stopped barking. I'm going to go 9 out of 10. Really liked it. Dig the documentary style, powerhouse performances, great visuals, sound design, music. I mean, what's not to love? You pretty much hit all the nails on the head for me.
All right, Jefferson.
9 out of 10, and there's no shame in a 9 out of 10. It was story was great, visuals were great. It continued an original idea with the documentary style that so many Star Trek fan films have adopted that style since. I think that the way to make the introduction of more people involved in this war was handled very well. The condensing of what was supposed to be a feature-length film down to 15-minute episodes. I'm sure that was not easy. A lot of stuff had to get cut. It's a shame, but I really think it was done well. The music was great. I love the music. The effects were spectacular, and so there was a lot to like in this. Yes.
Okay, Zam.
I'm actually stuck between a 7 and an 8. I'm not the biggest fan of this documentary style, to be honest. I've seen it done before, and I don't really appreciate it as much as you guys do. I want to see some proper cohesion between characters, and like I said, this being told to us, I found it very hard to grasp what the hell was going on. I mean, shame on me if for that reason, but I think having a good, engaging story is fundamental in giving a really top tier mark, regardless of how amazing the acting and the sets and everything was. And like I said earlier, is this really a fan film? You know, it doesn't feel like a fan film. It feels beyond that. You know, fan films for me feel very small and local and low budgety and stuff that is done on an iPhone. You know, this was next level. You know, it really was. But I can't help but be bothered by this documentary style and by the fact that I had no idea at the time what the fuck was going on. So I want to give it an 8. I really do, because I think there's so much that deserves the effort in this is amazing. But
I want to say something to try to talk you into that 8, if I can.
Yeah.
And don't go with it if you don't agree with it. But there was something that you said that I wanted to see if we can get that 8 out of you. Yes, the documentary style feels like it's been done. Like, yeah, I get it. It's been done. But here's the thing. Prelude to AXANAR started it. AXANAR did it first, and then others adopted that style because it gave the ability to tell more story with exposition, where the budget doesn't allow for showing every battle, showing every location, showing every scene. So it enabled Star Trek fan productions a way to use an exposition style to help cover for what we lack in budget or know-how or effects or whatever else. So even though it may feel like, yes, you've seen this style, it's because they started it and others adopted it. It's not that you know what I mean? The reason you've seen it a lot is because they started it and it's their thing, and that's how they continued it.
It's just the style itself. It's not whether I've seen it or not. It's how I don't necessarily appreciate the style. But I will say this, that this is probably, even though I've seen Star Trek styles, this sort of style done in Star Trek before. What's his name? Chris from Trek Yard. What's his surname?
I don't watch Trek Yard
guy. The one who constantly is asking for donations all the fucking time.
Oh. I don't remember his name.
But the point is, like, I
cast it out of my brain.
He makes fan films, and they're quite similar in that documentary style. Similar to
Sam Cockings.
Yeah. Sam Cockings. Yeah, sorry, I can't know. I called him Chris. Yeah, sorry, Sam Cockings. Yeah, his style is quite similar, and But I would have to say this is probably one of the better versions of that style. So, all right, you know, I'm going to be nice. I'll give it an 8.
Yeah, there we go.
Twist your arms,
Talk to me. There we go. Good man.
All right, everybody
Good
out
man.
there in YouTube land. Thank you very much for joining us. That was AXANAR, The Gathering Storm. I am going to, as I said before, always support the official release. The link is down in the description. Also, Alec Peters asked me to promote their, what's it called? Promote their email list, which is in the description, but it is vip.axanar.com. So please go there. And if you want updates and everything like that, and you know, you can go there and you can sign up for that, and you'll get emails from Alec Peters himself, or you know, a bot that he sends out or something. Who knows? I don't know anymore what Alec does. But yeah, so with all that being said, everybody, thank you very much for joining us here for our return to fan films. If you haven't already, please like, share, and subscribe to NerdTube, the greatest YouTube channel you kind of maybe sort of heard of.